So I just want to review what you kind of put down on these sheets and then open the floor up to questions. I've no doubt what's on the sheet is going to generate some questions that we can ask of Ian and Rob and just generally kind of discuss it amongst ourselves really. I'd like to start with, I think, what the blank sheet of paper, well what was blank at the beginning is always the interesting one for me. So someone has quite rightly put the question, what is the hub? Does it have a physical aspect? Is it a place? Is it a forum? Is it a website, etc.? It's about people, organisations, businesses. There's an idea, mind mapping session to talk about ideas and get feedback. And someone's even looked at one vote for that idea. Fantastic. I think I haven't actually added up the stars, but I think this is possibly the most popular in terms of your gold stars, and that's networking and training. So it's a database to know who is who and local links to groups, support, help generate ideas. Love that about kind of generating ideas together. It's fantastic. Jam sessions, open mic, artists of all disciplines given the opportunity to collaborate and give feedback, scratch nights, lovely. Experimental projects involving a range of skills. Who's the artist here? Elevator pitch training, going up. I love that, that's great. I've got, which had 2 votes, profile raising, a biannual newsletter, public profile, stroke portfolio, archive. Someone's mentioned local radio. Was that you, Phil, by any chance? No, it wasn't, was it? Someone's been listening, clearly, local radio. A DVD of short dramas and docs, kind of made in Somerset for distribution. What else? What you got there, Kirsty?
What you can, is that supposed to bring to the hub?
Yep.
Okay, so someone has put creative ideas, storm and devising session. Oh. Online, what is this?
Dissemination.
Very sorry. Networking, publicising events, and workshopping. This is quite. Oh no, this was the popular one with the stars. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4 stars, which is shared resources. Deb, can you read? I can't read it sideways.
Yeah, sorry. A hardware bank. Many freelancers, individuals have invested in equipment. They could earn extra cash renting it out. There's a question there about who would cover insurance. Archive, made to relevant case studies, articles, etc. That's interesting because we've got a session about archive coming up later. Okay, that's interesting. Ian, how did you actually start your hub? How did you get it going? What did you do a session like this, just canvassing for ideas, or did you have a clear kind of route to go?
No, well, it was kind of organic, really. I mean, Somerset Hub, the Music Hub. A meeting was initiated in Glastonbury by Bristol Music Foundation. So that's Matt Booth and I think Tracy Hill from Business Link, as a networking event to see if there was any interest in the county for people joining up their skills and also their organisations within the music industry, whether that be professional or whether it be amateur, or schools or any other organisations. From that, I think about 20 of us got together and decided that we did want to take this forward. There was no funding available at that time. There was a bit of seed funding available a little further down the line, but we basically organised ourselves, and with our professional contacts and people's enthusiasm and their willing to want to create and tie together, we managed to get a committee involved. And then once that was formed, we were, I can't remember the kind of organisation we are. Constituted organisation. We got a constitution together, a manifesto, posted that online. Approached a bank, they gave us a bank account, and then we started going to other people for money. So Bristol Music Foundation have funded us. The CD was funded by my organisation, Evolver magazine, which is a big arts magazine across the West Country. Some of you might be familiar with that. Somerset County Council, Disc Manufacturing Services. So we're pulling in elements of lots of different organisations and favours. It's an awful lot of favours to start with, just to build a profile and get something out there, so people could notice that we're there. Really.
Okay, fantastic. Can I just also mention, because we are still streaming online. If you are watching online and you've got some comments and perhaps you want to put your vote in or an idea, then do send us your text on 07976 638 980. That's 07976 638 980. Can I just, obviously we've hit you on the head with this topic, but could I just get a general show of hands? How many of you honestly think a hub for film and media industry in Somerset is a good idea? Okay, so that's pretty fantastic. Okay.
I've got one caveat I'm going to throw in, which is what this needs to be. I think for it to work, we need to build on our strengths. We don't want to reinvent the wheel. We don't want to try and create an artificial organisation that then requires a lot of maintenance to keep it going. It's about a dynamic interaction of the energies that are already going on in Somerset, rather as Ian has been describing, has happened with the Music Hub. I do think we need to find some resources between us to move forward. And I think we need to be outward facing. I'm actually quoting John from Tickbox when I say that, because he said it a few minutes ago, but I completely agree with him. It isn't just about us getting together and having a conversation about ourselves and Somerset. It's about the linkages beyond our immediate channels of communication. We've all got links going out in all sorts of directions. Some, we'd all like them to be greater, more resourced. We'd like to have more what's the right word? More purchase, more traction when we engage with the wider world. But I think for the hub to work, whatever the hub is, because we're sort of tending to talk about it as if it exists, and that in a way, I've always thought that this was a hub. We've been running this for years, and it kind of is a hub, but we've never really called it that. But what I now see emerging is a dynamic, as I've said already, without repeating myself too much, but a dynamic interplay between existing energies, organisations, projects that could all benefit from recognising how they can work effectively together. And there are definitely funding streams, because money hasn't been mentioned very much, but I've always thought to get a hub going, you do need some dosh, really. And actually, there are funding streams out there that are actually only available to us if we work together. If Somerset Film goes for it on its own, it will never get it. But if Somerset Film goes with Tickbox, with Film Tank, with the Music Hub, who knows? It doesn't have to just be even film and media. There's a slight conflict, not a conflict at all, but a resolution that I have to get in my head. Somerset Film has Somerset in the title. It's about Somerset, it's about placemaking, it's about identity, it's about building something in this place where we are. But actually, there's also something else parallel with that, which is the creative industries of which we are part. And there is an argument that says if we add Somerset into the name, we're limiting ourselves. We're seeing some of our partnerships like Bigger House, Jump Cuts with Bigger House, getting a reach now nationally, internationally, they might not have so easily if they had the word Somerset in the title. And I'm seeing nods around the room. So I'm not saying how do we resolve that?
I think we ran into that problem as well. When we were trying to name our hub, should it be the Somerset Music Hub? Should we call it the Music Hub for Somerset? Or should we have Somerset in the title at all? What I've been a strong advocate for is the quality of the work that we produce. And even though this says the sound of Somerset on it, it's not a bunch of farmyard noises. It's not produced behind a 5-bar gate. There's not a picture of a cider tree on the front of the album. When people put this in their CD player, the first thing they're confronted with is a singer-songwriter with sensitivity and an incredible guitar style. You're like, oh, right. And then that leads you on to somebody that, I can't remember the order exactly, but there's some experimental music on there, there's a school on there doing samba, but all of it holds up and stands on its own 2 feet when it's listened to by professionals in those organisations. And what really annoys me, working away from the area and then coming back, is this, it's only Somerset, isn't it? That's not good enough. Take it forward. Somerset has to be beyond. If something's produced in Berkshire or Cambridgeshire or Oxfordshire. It's not like, oh well, it's Oxfordshire, so we won't. You know, I don't know why there's a stigma attached to the West Country. It's not like we're bumpkins. You know, there are people operating at really high professional levels in this area. They just choose to live here because it's cheaper and not as dirty, maybe.
Yeah, well, I come from Somerset and I'm proud of it, and I'm proud of being in Bridgewater, and I'm proud of those things. But actually, in terms of how we're working together in an international, on an international stage, which we all are, this stream is going out all around the world. Actually, you know, I don't know who's watching it, but they could be watching it anywhere in the world. So we have to kind of think in those terms and not. So it's partly about the mindset. It is also about the name.
I think really it's about brand and vision, and it's what it all means. And you are a hub. You already are a hub. But the idea of sort of launching a hub, it's an output of a vision, and it is a marketing exercise that obviously has real things happening underneath it. But it needs to have a sense of what it is, who it's for. What are you trying to do? So you can measure it. So you say, yes, we did this, we did that, and it's got to be kind of tangible at the end of the day. And then you've got to learn from what didn't work and be honest about it. But I think that it's not whether there is a lack of confidence and a lack of identity in Somerset. Many of the people working in Somerset, and this was why the Shepton Digital Arts Festival was so easy to do, because there were so many people, producers and directors and filmmakers and musicians, within a 5-mile radius, and people here are very, very talented, very, very creative, but we have to sort of believe in ourselves. So wrap it up, whatever the name is. That's why I called it the Shepton Digital Arts Festival, to prove that point, because Shepton isn't known for what we're making it known for, but the reality of Shepton is that these people are there. So I would say, think of the vision, think of the brand. Don't ditch Somerset. You are a hub, but the hub idea model is an opportunity to market that vision. But you need to know what that vision is, and nobody's really said what that vision is as yet.
Also, I think Somerset, West Country, in a broader sense, undervalues itself all the time, and that's because most of the people that operate in this area have come back from other places, but also people from Yeovil specifically, because that's where I'm from and I operate. John Parrish, I know I've dropped his name a couple of times, and but he operates in Bristol now with the Toy Box, but he's still got really strong links to Yeovil artists. I mean, we're developing an artist from Crewkern at the moment. You know, he's been taken to Bristol, he's recording there, his career's being launched. So there shouldn't be a stigma about being from Somerset, and it is. I don't know, fight the good fight.
Well, we've done research. I mean, John can go. We've done research into that lack of identity and confidence and percent. It is a fact. There is.
It's both internal and external. That's the problem. I think until that internal perception is addressed, and Somerset starts kind of punching its weight really in terms of the disparate groups that are here that are providing that creativity, sort of coming together to allow it to punch its weight. It's going to suffer from that. That kind of sense of maybe a little bit of inferiority complex, particularly compared to places like Bristol.
It's that sense of denial, isn't it? It's when people aren't going to go, oh, I'm from Charlton Mackerel, or I'm from Yeovil, or Bridgewater, or Crewkern. They're going to go, oh, I'm from Bristol or London, because it gives kudos or credibility. Well, that's not necessarily the case, and I don't think it should be. And
I think there's a bit of an artificial boundary, really, if you're thinking about, Bristol, Somerset. In terms of the economy of the area, there isn't, as a business, there isn't really a boundary. Bristol and Somerset are kind of an economic zone, if you like.
Yeah.
One of which is the urban area, which has the critical mass. The other, which is the more rural area. But there's a synergy. We have offices in Bristol and Somerset, and we're kind of fairly seamless about that. We don't see ourselves as being in Bristol and Somerset. We see the two offices as working within a region where clients spend some of the time in Bristol, some of the time in Somerset. A lot of Somerset businesses are financed largely by working with companies in Bristol, especially in the creative industry. And Bristol offers an opportunity, almost like a sort of gateway out to the rest of the world, and Bristol is a much more internationally focused city, purely and simply because of the size of it, really.
But also, Somerset hosts one of the biggest live music events in the world.
Absolutely, yeah.
But that's not associated as a Somerset festival. It's a
point.
Glastonbury festival.
That's the key point there. A lot of brands could be encouraged to associate themselves with Somerset. Yo Valley, look at that
Yeah.
hip advert. It doesn't say Somerset, it says
Yeah.
West. And